Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world. Welcome you to Global TV's news cycle, live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Judith Peters. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the appointment of some new and returning chief executives to fresh term in office across multiple agencies under the Federal Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, likes of Aminu Maida, EVC/CEO Nigeria Communications Commission NCC, Nkechi Egeton Idehan, MD/CEO Nigeria Communications Satellite Limited, NICOSAT, Kashifu Inuha Abdullahi, DG/CEO National Information Technology Development Agency NIDA, Dr. Vincent Olatunji, National Commission /CEO Nigeria Data Protection Commission NDPC, Tola Adeyemi, Postmaster General /CEO Nigeria Postal Service NIPOS. Furthermore, in line with President Bola Tinubu's administration to maximally leverage on Nigerians' proven technological and digital economic prowess to reposition the nation's economy towards greater financial inclusion, the President has approved the appointment of a new special advisor to the President on technology and digital economy, Idris Alubankudi. As well, the Vice President of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima, says the President's administration is committed to revamping education sector, adding that strategies are in place to ensure that the learning environment is safe for both learners and teachers. The Vice President, who was represented by Special Advisor Political Hakim Baba Ahmed, reiterated this during this year's Sir Amadou Bello Memorial Foundation in Abuja. Global TV's education correspondent Subarat Usman has details.
The Vice President said there's urgent need to address the growing number of out-of-school children in the country, as no child will be left behind. The Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mamman, charged state and local government to address educational gap by providing innovative ways of transferring knowledge to learners for accelerated learning.
We are also going to look at the system of education at the secondary school level, because from some of the studies that I have seen in the file, numeracy and literacy, which we are citing across the states, especially in the north, I have never seen a state that has more than 17% literacy level. These are studies, reported studies in the files.
Meanwhile, the Chairman Board of Trustees, Sir Amadou Bello Foundation, and former Governor of Niger State, Babangida Aliyu, said 50% of teachers in northern states are underqualified for the teaching profession. The Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence Saad Abubakar III, said,
"Back here speaking on the same issues, that shows we are not moving forward, because we failed to implement whatever we have discussed, what we agreed to do." I want to thank Professor Rukaya for the efforts, for this beautiful paperwork, which must be given to all the governors and must go through and then convene the governors for a meeting with northern traditional leaders, with other major stakeholders like the academicians of northern extraction, to sit down and review all these issues within the shortest possible time and appoint a committee to implement. But that's our problem, implementation. If we don't implement, we'll come back next year for another conference. We'll be talking about the same thing. So let's be more serious now, because if you have identified a problem, you have half of the solution. Now let's look for the other half of the solution so that we can move forward.
The major challenge hindering educational growth in the north is lack of implementation of policies from the stakeholders. The Sir Amadou Bello Memorial Foundation this year's theme is tagged Education in the Northern Nigeria, Status, Challenges and the Way Forward. Princess Usman, Global Television News.
Others in the health sector on Wednesday emphasized the need for intensive vaccination drive. The call was made in Abuja during the third quarter review meeting of Northern Traditional Leaders Committee on PHC Delivery, organized by the Federal Ministry of Health in collaboration with the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency. Sharon Ajay was at the event for Global TV, now brings us details.
Dr. Partey commended the northern leaders on behalf of the federal government on their effort to eradicate wild polio virus and the commitment to improving the lives of people across the country over a 12-year period, with evidence of only a tiny minority of children living with polio.
We're here to reflect on the progress that has been made, and the Chief Executive of MPHCD articulated some of those important progress that we have accomplished. We have made a lot of progress on the polio, on routine immunization, but there's still a lot of things that we need to do going forward, including the residues of circulating mutant polio virus in at least some of our states, particularly in Zamfara states, in parts of it, but also in parts of Sokoto state, which we are going deeper to deal with. There are areas of our country where children still are missed, that have 0 dose. I think those are also an area that we will continue to explore how we can double down, and your support in that direction will be very helpful.
The Health Minister, however, acknowledged that there is more work that needs to be done, saying this is only a phase of the movement as more impact is required, particularly in states where children have 0 dose of the vaccine. He assured that actions are being taken all aimed at preventing the spread of the diphtheria outbreak around the 19 states where it has been detected.
98% of those who have diphtheria, the children that have diphtheria, have not been immunized. So in a way, we are finding an example of the power of vaccines to prevent the disease. So if those children had been vaccinated, they would not have had diphtheria. But we have to catch up. And as the ED mentioned, there is no discrimination because it spreads from one person to the other. So we are committed as government to bring it under control. That is why I set up an emergency task force led by the Executive Director of MPHCD and the Director General of Nigeria Center for Disease Control and our partners to aggressively work with the state government.
On his part, the Sultan of Sokoto, Sa'ad Abubakar, appreciated effort geared at facilitating the effective administration of the vaccine all over Nigeria. He extended his gratitude to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation as well as Aliko Dangote for their immense contribution.
So I think it was in March 2009 when Bill Gates came to Sokoto to see me, because he had the wonderful job we did in the first 1 year of this committee. They couldn't believe within 1 year there is a drastic reduction of polio cases in Nigeria. So they wanted to see how we do it. The rest is history. But from that March 2009 to now, Bill Gates never went back. And that's why at all times, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation are always there with us, helping us, supporting us, ensuring that we get funds to do our jobs.
Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
The Nigeria Senate has directed 5 of its committees to commence investigation into oil theft and its impact on petroleum production and oil revenues in the country. Kikelamo Okere reports that the committees, which were given the mandate on the floor of plenary, include petroleum, upstream, downstream, gas, Niger Delta, and that in charge of host communities.
The resolution was reached after the debate on a motion sponsored by Senator Ned Nwoko and 2 others. In his debate, Senator Nwoko noted that in March 2023, Nigeria lost over 65.7 million barrels of crude oil valued at $83 per barrel, translating to revenue loss of 2.3 trillion naira as a result of oil theft.
The motion is for urgent need to investigate the incessant and nefarious acts of crude oil thefts in the Niger Delta and the actors. In March 2023, Nigeria incurred a substantial loss of 65.7 million barrels of crude oil, valued at $83 per barrel, translating to a staggering revenue loss of 2.3 trillion as a result of oil theft.
Contributing to the debate, other lawmakers highlighted the need to address the issue of oil theft and its attendant consequences on the environment and economy of Nigeria.
What I would suggest is not for us to continue to lament or set up inquiries My suggestion, Mr. President, is that given the seriousness of this situation, and I will dare say before the new government, each agent gets sucked into the tradition, this is the time to stop it.
In supporting this motion, if you look at it, there are a lot of salient points he made. He said the bunkering started in 1970. We are in 2023 now, which means that's 53 years ago. Up till now, we've not been able to solve it. He said 2.3 trillion is being stolen every year. That's a lot of money. How much is even the budget of Nigeria? The biggest problem we have in this country, Mr. President, is punitive measure. All these things, there are a lot to it. A colleague of mine now was contributing. He even said at his backyard, he has been arresting people who are bunkering, doing bunkering at his backyard, but nothing has happened.
In his remark, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, who also alluded to the issues raised by the colleagues, urged the investigative panel to come up with a lasting solution.
Into the actions of security forces, militia groups, the local populace, oil company employees, and any individual or entities suspected to be using sophisticated methods to pilfer our oil resources from the oil facilities within our country. Those in support of the prayer one say aye, those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The committee were given 6 weeks to conclude work on investigation and report back to the plenary. Kike Lomo Ukeri, Global Television News, Abuja.
Minister of Works David Umahi says President Bola Tinubu has approved all the proposed interventions for the rehabilitation of the East-West roads. Umahi disclosed this after a closed-door meeting with President Bola Tinubu at the presidential villa in Abuja. He noted that his administration will flush out elements within the government causing delays in road development across the country. Uyi Agbamufuegbe has details.
According to the minister, the president also gave approval for the consultants, engineers, and a task force to be on every site from Lokoja to Benin, Warri, Cross River, and other parts of Nigeria to monitor the progress and quality of construction being carried out by contractors.
There are some contractors that have 20 jobs and they have 2 equipment on site. It can no longer be the same. We have minimum requirement of equipment on site for a particular work. And if you don't have it, you will leave the site. Nobody can hold this country to ransom. Nobody. Our local contractors are advised to wake up.
The Works Minister also begged Nigerians and other stakeholders to join hands and support the initiative of the Renewed Hope administration to build roads using concrete rather than bitumen.
Why is it that when you bring bitumen here, you are putting modifier, enhancer, this and that? The question is, in overseas, do they put all these things? So why would you allow adulterated bitumen and then you come here, you say you are putting modifier, And we are witnesses that in the 50s, the road constructed on asphalt in the 50s were much more durable than what we witness today. So this is all that we are saying. We are not saying people should not, construct roads on asphalt. But if Nigerians are saying they should not have value for their money, the road should be continue to be constructed every year, the same road, then it's very unfortunate.
He warned that contractors who fail to comply with the alternative use of concrete pavements to build more friendly and durable roads across the country will have their contracts revoked. Citing the failure of asphalt, especially in the north-central and entire southern part of the country, Umahi added that the use of concrete pavement will make the roads last longer, curbing insecurity on highways, guarantee Nigerians more jobs, and boost economic activities across the nation. Uyi Agbamufuegbe, reporting for Global Television News.
National Chairman of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, says the party remains resolute in the face of a court ruling on the party's candidate, Timi Persiva. For the Bayelsa State governorship election, recall that Justice Donatus Okorowo of the Federal High Court, Abuja, disqualified the APC candidate in the November 11th race. Justice Okorowo ruled that Silva, having been sworn in twice and ruled for 5 years as governor of Bayelsa State, would breach the 1999 Constitution as amended if allowed to contest and eventually win. Kikelomo Okere tells more.
Speaking to State House correspondent in Abuja, Chairman of Progressive Congress Abdullahi Ganduje assured party members and supporters that the setback resulting from the judgment will not deter the APC from its preparation for the upcoming election in Bayelsa State. Ganduje emphasized the party's commitment to the electoral process despite the recent legal challenges.
It's unfortunate that judgment, but we can say that it is democracy in action. But we learned that the person who took the issue to the court of law is not even qualified because he did not contest with the silver. Therefore, he's not even qualified for him to take the issue to the court. However, we are appealing. We are waiting for the judgment and then we appeal on that issue. Well, last 2 weeks I was in Bayelsa for 2 good days, and I think they were ready, and they are still ready to win the election. Therefore, this is a little distraction anyway, but we will overcome it. We believe the appeal court will give us a positive judgment, so that, but that will not stop us from making arrangement for the forthcoming election, which is coming up on the 11th November 2023.
The APC national chairman also called for calm among party members, highlighting that the individual who brought the case to court may not have been qualified to do so, as they did not contest against the APC candidate Sylvia in the original primary election. Kikelomo Okere, Global Television News.
The Nigeria Air Force has received 2 additional Diamond 62 aircraft as part of its effort to intensify ongoing air operations against insecurity in the country. The new aircraft were received at a ceremony held in Ilorin, Kwara State on Wednesday. This was contained in a statement issued by the Director of Public Relations and Information (NAV), Air Commodore Edward Gabbard. In his remarks during the ceremony, the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, noted that the process that culminated in the arrival of the 2 additional aircraft began about 2 years ago when the federal government appropriated funds for the acquisition of 4 Diamond 62 aircraft for the NAV. According to him, one of the 4 aircraft, the first 2 aircraft were delivered between February and July 2023, while the remaining 2 were being received today. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Ali Pate, has called on Nigerians to discriminate mental health, but rather empathize with patients suffering for such diseases. The World Mental Health Day is an international day for global mental health education, awareness, and advocacy against social stigma. The day was established on October 10th, 1992 by the World Federation for Mental Health. Pate made the call on Tuesday in Abuja during the commemoration of the 2023 World Mental Health Day. With the theme, mental health is a universal human right. Pate stated that no reason should mental health be criminalized in the present day. According to the minister, we should have a progressive approach to look at. Since we do not criminalize malaria, why should we criminalize mental health issue? Meanwhile, the Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Faisal Shaub, has said that an outbreak of diphtheria infection claimed 20 lives of children in Kaduna State. This was as Jose Shabu, also the co-chairman of the Presidential Task Force team on diphtheria, said a total of 156 cases of the deadly infection have recorded in the state so far. The NPHCDA board spoke with journalists shortly after assessing the Kaduna Diphtheria Treatment Center at Barrow Diko Teaching Hospital in the state capital on Wednesday. And that's it on the news cycle, coming to you live from the Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platform using Global TV and G and other handles now showing on your TV screen. On behalf of the production team and the duty editor, I am Judith Peters. Thank you so very much for watching. You have a good time.